What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we have 3 must-start and 3 must-sit wide receivers for Week 4 of the fantasy football season. So without further ado, let's hop right into my must-starts, and then we'll talk must-sits. But we're going to start here with Michael Pittman Jr. He is my first start of the week. Right now, I have him as a top 15 play in fantasy football and PPR leagues. And Michael Pittman Jr., he's coming off of a couple good weeks here. Week 1, he finished as a top 8 play at the position. Week 3, he was a top 22 play. And then week 2, he was a top 38 play. So really, he's averaging somewhere between 13 and 25 points per game over the last 3 weeks. The good news is here that Anthony Richardson is cleared from concussion protocol, and he should resume as the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts here in this matchup. They do have a matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, and this matchup is projected to be somewhat average as far as game totals go. 46 points is the projected game total here. It's supposed to be a competitive game. The Rams are favored by 1 point as of this morning. Both teams are projected to score anywhere between 2 and 3 touchdowns in this one. So should be a competitive game, should be a lot of opportunity for Michael Pittman to catch the football and keep the Colts here in this game with Anthony Richardson under center. So Michael Pittman Jr., top 15 play. He's going to be a start of the week for me. Now let's go over to my number 2 start of the week, and that's going to be Jaylen Waddle. And Jaylen Waddle, for me, he is going to also fall close to a top 15 play. He's not in the top 15, but he's in the top 20. So he's just a little bit below Michael Pittman in my rankings this week. And Jaylen Waddle, he missed week 3 with a concussion, so he did not play in week 3. But Jaylen Waddle is kind of due for a big game here. We know the Miami Dolphins, they put up a lot of points. They put up 70 points last week against the Denver Broncos, and they have a game this week against the Buffalo Bills where the game total is the highest game total of the week. It's projected at 54 points, a massive projected game total for this game. So lots of fantasy football points to go around in this one. It is expected to stay competitive. The Bills actually are favored in this matchup here, and we're expecting fireworks here, man. It should be 3 to 4 touchdowns per team. Jaylen Waddle is going to have to be a big beneficiary in this offense for this matchup if they want to have a chance to beat the Buffalo Bills. We know how these matchups go when they're in division, and really I think Jaylen Waddle is just due, and I think this matchup is good enough for him that we should be very comfortable playing him as a top 20 wide receiver option in fantasy football this week. Now, my third and final start of the week here is going to be Jakobi Meyers, and keep in mind, Jimmy Garoppolo may not play in this game, so this is something that we should monitor. However, if it is Aiden O'Connell who is playing quarterback for the Raiders in this game, I still think that Jakobi Meyers can be started, but again, this is something that I'm going to be monitoring. However, when you look at Jakobi Meyers' matchup this week, he gets to play the Los Angeles Chargers. The game total is at 48.5 points, a 5.5 point favorite for the Chargers here in this one. So the Raiders should be playing from behind, which should mean that they should be passing the football a lot more in this matchup. And one thing that I do like about this is the Los Angeles Chargers have been bleeding fantasy football points to the wide receiver position. So Jakobi Meyers should be able to score a good amount of fantasy football points in this one. And as we look at what he's done over his last 2 games that he's been able to play in for the Las Vegas Raiders, in week 1, he had 10 targets, and in week 3, he had 12 targets. It looks like Jakobi Meyers is a big part of this offense. They are looking his way. He's getting a lot of volume, and that's what we want for fantasy football. So I think that Jakobi Meyers, when it's all said and done this week, I think we should be looking at him as a top 25 play at the position, a wide receiver 2 for your fantasy football teams, and that's why he's going to be a start of the week for me this week. But now that we've talked about starts of the week, let's talk about some of the guys that I'm sitting, matchups that I don't like, or players I'm not confident in, and we're going to be starting with DJ Moore for the Chicago Bears. And DJ Moore is currently sitting outside of my top 35 wide receivers at the position, so really a low-end wide receiver 3, maybe a flex play for you this week. And it really is put up or shut up time here for the Chicago Bears, and specifically Justin Fields. In this matchup against the Denver Broncos, we know the Broncos have been a very bad defense. They've been a bad team, and so far they've been pretty friendly to fantasy football options. Now, with that being said, I really still don't trust the Chicago Bears, and I don't trust Justin Fields and DJ Moore in this matchup. There's a chance that DJ Moore could, get some volume or maybe fall into the end zone, but at the end of the day, he's a player that I might be looking at other options. When you just look at the last 3 weeks for DJ Moore, 2 targets in week 1, 7 targets in week 2, 6 targets in week 3, and week 3's day was really just saved by a touchdown. He hasn't finished within the top 25 wide receivers all year so far. I don't really expect that to change here. Like I said, he's outside of my top 35, and DJ Moore is somebody that I'm going to be looking for other options this week. And if I can put DJ on the bench, I'm going to do it. So DJ Moore is somebody I will be sitting this week. Now, another player that I'm going to be sitting this week is going to be Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints, and it is still up in the air whether or not Derek Carr is going to be playing in this game. He did get in a practice on Friday here today, so we will see what happens with Derek Carr. If it is Jameis Winston under center, this is even more of a reason I think that we should be sitting Michael Thomas. But if Derek Carr suits up, I guess there's a little bit more optimism for Michael Thomas. However, as it sits right now in this matchup that he has against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have Michael Thomas outside of my top 40 wide receivers. And as we look at the last couple weeks for Michael Thomas, week 1, wide receiver 37, week 2, wide receiver 42, and week 3, wide receiver 40. He's getting a decent amount of volume. I mean, the targets have been pretty consistent. 8 targets week 1, 9 in week 2, and 9 in week 3. But he's just not doing a ton with them. It's 60 yards, 50 yards, 50 yards, no touchdowns. And so really what we're hoping from Michael Thomas, if we want a good fantasy football day from Michael Thomas, is that he falls into the end zone. And this is projected to be a fairly low-scoring game here for the Saints. And in fact, it's projected to be one of the lowest-scoring game totals of the week. So as it sits right now, touchdown opportunities are projected to be scarce. I just don't think Michael Thomas is a safe option, nor is he really an upside option in your fantasy football rosters this week. So with all of that being said, I'm going to be benching Michael Thomas this week, and I don't want to be playing him. And now, last but not least, it's going to be Jahan Dotson as a sit for me this week, and really it comes down to Sam Howell. Sam Howell has been horrible in the NFL for fantasy football. It's just been a very bad experience with Sam Howell at quarterback. He fooled me, man. It was somebody who I kind of had high hopes for. I hoped that he would develop into something, but so far it looks pretty ugly. And Jahan Dotson is currently sitting outside of my top 50 wide receivers on the week. He does have a matchup on the road. They're going to play in Philadelphia, so that is a good defense there too. Probably not a lot of time for Sam Howell to let routes develop and throw the football. Sam Howell, it's been horrible. The offense looks bad, and they're having to resort to a lot of checkdowns. And when you look at what Jahan Dotson has done over the last 3 weeks of football, he's played some pretty bad teams outside of the Buffalo Bills. He played Arizona and he played Denver. Both of them we know have been bleeding points to the fantasy football wide receiver position. And week 1, Jahan Dotson finishes the wide receiver 46, and since then he hasn't even cracked the top 80. This week I have him outside of my top 50, and he's just a player that we're not going to be able to trust in fantasy football. And unfortunately, it may be like this for a while with Jahan Dotson, at least as long as Sam Howell is the quarterback there in Washington. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people were banking on a Jahan Dotson breakout here in year 2. And it just looks like as long as Sam Howell is playing football and the Commanders are looking like this, it's not going to happen for Dotson right now. So for me, let's sit him in week 4. I think there are plenty of other options I would rather play than Jahan Dotson. All right, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. So if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that like button for me down below. It is the best free way to show our channel support. If you want more videos like this, we make videos like this every single day. So hit that subscribe button so you see those when they do come out. And last but not least, if you want any help with lineups, start sit questions, trade questions, waiver questions, or you just want somewhere where you can talk fantasy football or NFL football with me and a community that we've built over at the League FFB, go ahead and join our free Discord. It is going to be linked in the description down below. And like I said, it is free to join, so make sure you go join that. Now, with all of that being said, I don't have anything else for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow when we come out with our next video. And until then, peace out.